Hi, my name is Deborah Miranda, and thank you for watching Debbie Can Do. And on today's show, we're going to have some great recipes for you, some easy things that you can do with your family at home. We've got salsa, taquitos, and guacamole. And I'm going to start off today with some salsa. And this isn't the usual salsa that you can buy at the store. It's a chunky salsa, very fresh salsa. It's what my grandma makes. She's made it all my life. And let me show you the ingredients for that. We've got 6 Serrano chilies. And you can get this at the grocery store. They're the small green chilies. You're going to need 3 tomatoes, 1 onion, cilantro, and then just tortilla chips to eat with. And I'm going to show you how easy this is because it's a fresh salsa, so you want to make it fresh. I mean, you want to make it right before your guests come over. You don't want to, my mom says it's better the day after. She keeps it in like an old mayonnaise jar and keeps it till the next day, but I like it really fresh. And all we're going to do is we're going to dice it up. You see I cut the ends off, and I'm just going to make slices, and then we're going to dice it the other way. Now I like these to be pretty small. But I mean, if you like fresh tomatoes, if you really like fresh tomatoes, you can make them a lot chunkier. You can do whatever you want with it. Now, there are a lot of other things you can do with the salsa when it's done. My grandma mixes it with ranch, and that's really good. It makes a nice creamy salsa. We really do eat this a lot, and just so that you know, our family gets together once a week, and there's always chips and salsa on any table. So it's a great appetizer for barbecues, just any occasion. I know we eat it for every occasion. Just gonna get the top off that. And again, you can see I'm using a fairly large knife. And it helps if you hold it, as you can see that, with your top 2 fingers, hold it on the blade so that you get a lot more leverage of what you're doing. And you can also use the smaller tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are good, but I like the flavor of these ones better. Okay. This is also great. I know when my grandma makes her rice, she mixes in a little bit of salsa in with the juice. It makes it kind of a chunkier rice. She also makes a pork meat with chili, which is really easy. Just pork meat, and then she adds the chili to it and just slow cooks the pork meat until it gets all the flavors of the chili. And if you try this at home, you'll see it's fairly hot. And if you don't like it that hot, you can always, take away a few chilies, mild it down. All this recipe really is slicing them up, throwing in a bowl. And I got some fairly large chunks going, but fresh tomatoes, I know so many people love fresh tomatoes. I'm throwing tomatoes. All right. Then we're going to move on to the chili. Again, 6 Serrano chilies. If you want it, you can substitute for jalapenos. I know a lot of people prefer to use jalapenos. And I'm just going to make slices, fairly large slices, and just throw those in. But like I said, jalapenos work very well. And remember, you're going to eat it just like this. So, you're not going to blend it up. It's just a fresh chunk salsa. All right, I'm going to gather my waste here. Now we're going to do an onion. You're going to put a whole onion here, and you want to mince the onion. And let me show you a trick to mince. Just cut off one end. Take off your outer filling. If you can get the outer layer off. We'll take one more layer off. All right, and a great way to get these in small slices quick is just start making small cuts, but you want to make the cuts almost to the end of the onion. That'll hold them together, makes it a lot easier. It also helps you judge how big the slices are going to be. And then just cut the other way. And you can see how small the onions are. Just be real careful when you get down to the end. Always keep your fingers down. We're going to do that one more time with the other half. Now I bought just regular tortilla chips that you can buy in a bag. And I wanted to let you know, because it's such a great little tip, that if you stick your tortillas, if you put them in like a Ziploc bag and stick them in the freezer, they stay fresh for as long as I possibly need to keep them fresh. So just to let you know. I know I buy them occasionally and then they sit on top of my refrigerator for entirely too long. And my grandma told me that not too long ago. Share that important information. All right. And then the last thing we're going to do is our cilantro that I'm also getting everywhere. And you want to clean these up as best as possible. They don't have to be perfect. You just don't want giant roots. I'm just going to go through, cut them off a little bit. You can see a little bit of the stem isn't going to be a big deal because we're going to cut this down very small. This might make it a lot easier. Okay. And what we're going to do with this is we're just going to go through and cut it about as small as possible. Parsable. Okay. We get a nice big pile. And just start cutting through. If you want them really small, you can run them through a food processor, but I don't like to dirty the dishes. This would also be great if you had with cheese dip. Make a cheese dip out of it. Melt down some cheese, a little bit of milk. That sounds really good, actually. All right. And we're just going to throw all this in the bowl. If it doesn't stick to the countertop or my hands. And mix it up. Now, I know some people just leave it chunky and fresh, just like this. But my grandma adds just a little bit of water. Not even a whole cup. Just enough to cover the bottom so the juices kind of settle in together. I know this seems so weird, I'm sure, if you haven't seen this before. But this, fresh tomatoes, fresh onions, the chilies are in there. It's hot and spicy. This is the best salsa I think I've ever had. It's so easy and cheap. And like my mom said, you know, it's sometimes she prefers to eat it the second day after it's set in a mayonnaise jar overnight, a clean one. But I like it fresh. And I'm going to set this aside now that we got our little appetizer done. And we're going to cut right into our taquitos. And they're so easy to make. I'm going to show you. And I've been informed taquitos are mainly an appetizer, but not the way my grandma makes them. This is something you can serve with beans and rice and just eat it as a whole meal. It's huge taquitos. When you get a pan started, you want to get one pan heating up for your tortillas. You're going to want to warm these up. Let me show you the recipe real quick. All you need is roast beef, corn tortillas, and oil. It's that simple. And you're going to heat up these tortillas once you get that going. I got my oil on medium-high. And what we're going to do is you're going to want roast beef. Now you can buy a roast beef at the store. You want to make sure that you get the chuck roast beef. This is just the canned roast beef, which works just as well. And in case you didn't know, they're located in the aisle with the tuna and just so you're not searching like I was at the grocery store. And you're going to have to get in here with your hands and just shred it up as small as possible. A good thing there is about using the canned roast beef is that they're already in small chunks, so you don't have to worry about giant strings of roast beef. You don't want to take a bite of a taquito and the whole roast beef just comes out. Gets a little rich, and that's not good. Okay, and as you can see, I've already got this all shredded. And all we're going to do is heat our tortillas. I'm going to do 2 or 3 at a time. Throw it in the pan. And simply just wait for them to heat up. It's going to be real quick. They're already pretty soft. The brand that I bought, they're pretty flexible, but this is going to give them a little bit more. It'll be easier. You don't want them to crack or break. Just flip them a couple times. It's not going to take entirely too long. These 3 are already good to go. 3 more. And I'm going to start filling them here. Just take some roast beef. A pretty good amount of roast beef. And it's as easy as rolling them up. I'm going to get a few going here. Woo. Now a trick to doing this is the toothpicks. I'm going to put 2 on a toothpick. Just going to run it through this way. Same with the other end. Leave a little bit of space in between them so the oil can get through the middle. That way the center cooks. And then halfway through we'll just peel them off. Okay. I'm going to get a few of these made. And again, fill them up because this is something that you can serve as a meal. You want to make sure it's enough to feed a person. Otherwise, you'll be making 500 taquitos for 3 people. Okay. And our oil is good and hot. And all we're going to do is drop them in. These ones are still a little bit cold, so let's pour a little bit, but they'll still be good. And you just want to make sure that they brown. As you can see, I've already got a setup here for when they come out. A strainer, I got a plate underneath with some napkins to catch the grease. Want to make sure they don't stick to the bottom. Woo. And then once the first side gets done, if you want to pull them off there, if they're too close together, just wedge them apart and pull that toothpick out. Once one side has gotten hard, it'll stay rolled up, so you don't have to worry about that. And that way you don't have to worry about the center of the 2 of them not cooking all the way. They'll just wedge right apart. And then we're just going to set them up like this so that the oil drains out of them. Let me just pull these out. All right. Now, I don't know about you, but the one thing that I like to eat with my taquitos is guacamole. And when we come back, I'm going to show you a really great guacamole recipe that it's pretty versatile. You can use it both ways, so be sure to tune in. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. My name is Deborah Miranda, and this is Deborah Can Do. Hi, my name is Deborah Miranda, and welcome back to Debbie Can Do. And this is the show where we're going to show you some great recipes that you can do with you and your family. And today we've been doing Mexican food. We've got taquitos, I did salsa earlier, and now I'm going to show you how to make the guacamole for the taquitos. And also, it's a chip dip, and it's really great. And let me show you the ingredients for that. You're going to need 5 avocados, an 8-ounce container of sour cream, a half a tomato, and a 1/4 of an onion. And like I said, this is a chunky avocado, or guacamole, I'm sorry. But you can make it a creamy, I'm going to get started on this. If you want to make it just creamy, just use the 4 avocados and just your sour cream. And what we're going to do to get ready for this, and I'll show you how you do that. I'm going to cut the very tip off this and just cut into it to where I get to the seed and work my way around. And that'll slice it in half. Kind of pull it apart. You'll see that there's a large seed in there. And we're just going to peel it off. Make one quick cut, I forgot, down the middle. And it'll just peel off. Now when you're shopping for avocados, you want to make sure that you buy a nice, firm ones. If they're squishy, then you know they've gone bad. Or they've just been beaten up. We don't need that part anyway. And again, we're going to make a cut down the back. We're going to peel these off. I know when I was little, we used to take the center of the avocado seed, well, the seed in the middle, and put toothpicks in it. And you can just stick it in a jar. It holds itself up to where the bottom touches the water, and just the bottom, and it'll just grow. Then you can plant them outside, grow your own avocados. I don't think we actually planted them, but it's nice to watch them sprout. All right. And we're going to get all 5 of these in here. This might be a little bit easier. Oh yeah. Rubber spatula. My new secret. And we're just going to put the first 4 in here. Work your way around that seed. It's a little difficult. Be careful. Now there are a lot of secrets to keeping because guacamole goes brown pretty quick. And I know a lot of people put lemon juice in it. Someone once told me that a little bit of milk would actually, I don't know if I've never actually tried that, so I'm not advising to do so, but I was told once that just a little bit of oil, which is what we're going to do, just drop a little bit of oil in there before adding anything else, would keep your avocados from turning brown. But then again, there's 100 tricks, I'm sure. Break open our last one. All right. And what we're going to do is go ahead and add the sour cream. That one didn't quite make it to the trash. All right. This we're having a minor malfunction with the blender. Luckily, it's easy to take apart. We can make sure we have it all in there correctly. Voila, cross your fingers. Sounds like a little motorcycle. All right, I don't think this is gonna work. Have no fear, we can fix this. There's always a way. I have almost nothing at my house. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a roller, so I kind of just have to make do, which is fairly easy. Normally you would just blend this up and it makes a real creamy guacamole, but what we're gonna do, with some luck, and we have luck, we're gonna mash it. And we're just gonna break this down. We're gonna get it as creamy as possible. Again, if you run it through the blender, it'll just turn to cream. It's beautiful. I love guacamole. It's beautiful. Let me scrape the bottom. All right. Keep mashing. And to this, we're going to add just a little bit of salt for flavor. And this right here is perfect guacamole. You can serve this, eat it with your guacamole. It's really very simple. There's nothing much to guacamole. But I like chunky. See, I like my grandma's salsa. I love it. So I'm going to show you how you can take regular guacamole and make it something spectacular. I know I said that wrong. We're okay. We're going to take our 5th avocado. And considering that we didn't run this through the food processor, it's already a little bit chunky. But again, if you run it through the blender food processor, it'll come out real creamy. And then we'll just take one avocado and just cut it into chunks. I love the way avocados taste. And fresh avocados. And this will give you nice, chunky avocado guacamole. Nice and chunky. We got that. We're going to take our half a tomato, cut the tip off, and again, just chunk it up. And then 1/4 of an onion. And again, we're going to mince this up just like we did before. Cut the top off. It's so easy. It's a good thing I cleaned this area up because I just made a complete mess with our smashed guacamole. We only want a fourth of that, and we're just going to throw it in. All right, I'm going to pull this out, and we're simply going to mix it up. Nice, chunky guacamole. And you can also use just the salsa. If you want to make it a little bit spicy, take a fourth a cup of that salsa instead of the tomato and the onion. And with those chilies in there, it'll just spice it right up. You want to make sure you do that without the added water, though. So if you're going to use it, take a little bit out before you add that water. And there you go. Chunky guacamole. And this is perfect to eat with your taquitos. And it's just perfect for chips and salsa. Put it on a tray. Let me plate you up a little bit right here. Get my avocado seeds out of the way. We got these great tortilla chips that we're just going to rip open. And again, this is very tasty, the salsa. It's so easy. Put your chips in the freezer. Hot and spicy. And just set this out on your table. It's a great appetizer. Put a little bit of your guacamole out there. Thanks for joining us. My name is Deborah Miranda. And this was Cooking with Debbie Can Do.